If you're new to this channel, you may consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so that you continue to receive the updates. Please share it with all others who might benefit.
When it comes to categorical features, and you ask this question to anybody, what is the best approach to impute the missing values? Most often the answer is that we replace it with the most common value or the mode. But is that the only approach that we may want to try? So in a previous tutorial, we introduced a synthetic data set which was created on purpose, particularly to deal with the missing values of categorical features. We have one categorical feature with multiple missing values. It has 3 levels which are available, but there are a lot of places where we have these blank cells. And we're trying to figure out the best approaches to deal with these missing values. So far in our journey, we've talked about the most common approach that people usually apply, which is just to replace the missing values with the mode of the categorical feature. And this is not what we are here to learn, because this is something that most of the people already know. Therefore, we extended it to level 2, where we talked about replacing the missing values based on the similarity profile. That's what we did in the previous tutorial. So wherever we had missing values, we assigned a label unknown, and then we achieved the profiling with respect to each of the available categories and this unknown, and kind of assigned a group. In case you've not seen the previous tutorial, you may watch that later, because the technique that we're going to teach today is independent of this technique. But the technique that we're going to teach you now is something that you rarely see in the hands-on examples. So pay attention, this is not going to be a very long video. But if you learn this technique, you would know better ways to deal with missing values than the obvious approaches. So in this video, the focus is going to be using a predictive model to impute the missing values. And this needs to be done in a particular way. We'll walk you through the step-by-step process of dealing with missing values through the predictive model next. Let's get started. Taking another copy of the original data frame, calling it DF3. You know how this data was, so we're just quickly showing you the head. We've already seen that for the similarity profiling, we had to do an encoding for the other categorical variables. So the same step needs to be applied here as well. The categorical feature 2 will be encoded in this case. So we are doing a get dummies on this and storing it as a part of DF3. And we are dropping the original representation of the categorical feature 2, same as we did earlier. Now what we are doing is, we're creating 2 parts of the original data set. Now this is different. This is something you probably have not seen. So what we are doing is that we are first of all selecting the data frame 3 without any missing value as our trained data. This will be our complete data. And we are keeping the data with missing values as our test data. So for trained data, we are simply doing a drop NA. It drops all the rows from the data frame which contain any missing value. And for the second case, we are saying we'll go through DF3, we'll check for missing values. If any missing value exists in a row, we will choose to keep it. That's how we are filtering it. So this syntax helps us get to train and test data frames, train with no missing values and test with missing values for the categorical feature where we want to do the treatment. Let's check the shape of the train data. You can imagine we had a total of 1,000 rows. Train has 910 rows. Why? Because there were 90 such rows which had missing data. That becomes your test. Now what we are doing is, we are separating X train and Y train from the train data. If you've done supervised learning or any of the models, you know what the step is. So we are just separating X and Y, calling the other features in the data as the predictors. So please note, in this approach, we are treating the feature with the missing values as our target column. That categorical feature becomes our target column, and we are treating all other features as the predictors. So we are going to separate X and Y. And for test, we don't have a choice. We don't have the target column or values available. So we will just simply take the independent features as all other features. Just remove the target column label, which is the categorical feature 1, and keep everything else there. Now we instantiate a model. In this case, just for demonstration purposes, I've taken logistic regression, but you can take any other classification model because we are solving it for a categorical variable. So let's just call the scikit-learn logistic regression model and instantiate it. And we are doing a cross-validation. See, we are not dividing the data into train and test like a random sampling and things like that. We are simply applying a cross-validation to check if we are able to get the consistent output. So the cross-validation score, again, this might be a new concept for some of you if you've not studied supervised learning, but that'll sooner or later be introduced. So we are talking about the cross-validation score, which internally divides the trained data into, let's say, in this case, 5 folds, and try to come up with the model performance, which is accuracy by default here. So let's just see. It kind of gives us not so great accuracy, but it's okay because we are not solving a classification problem. We are trying to do imputation right now. So this is fine. If all the features put together are able to give an accuracy of about only 30-odd%, that's fine. We can try other models and try to enhance this, but that's okay. Hope you get the idea. So now what we are doing is we are fitting X train and Y train to this model, which we instantiated above, and we are generating the predictions. Predictions on what? Predictions on just the test data. For train data, we already did a validation. We're through with that. For the test data, taking just the test data as the input, all the other features except the one with missing values as the input, we get to generate the labels. Now, what is different here? In the earlier two approaches that you've seen, you were able to make one and constant imputation. Either it was category B or category C or something like that, but now it is case-to-case basis because you applied a predictive model. So for some observations, you're predicting the category to be C. For some observations, you're predicting the category to be B. And at times, you're saying it's A. So here we see a different approach. Now what we are saying is that let's quickly check the missing values in the original data. We had 90 missing values. What we want to do is, in our test data, we essentially want to replace the missing values with these labels that we have predicted. How do we do that? We can take the test data frame and .lock, which will take all the indices of the test data frame. Let me show you what are the indices of the test data frame. So these are the indices. The missing values were not missing in sequence. They were missing randomly across rows, right? So we're just looking at those indices, and wherever applicable, all these missing values for categorical feature 1, which are nans right now, will be replaced with the labels that we have predicted above. So that's what we're doing here. Now we can go back and check the missing values. But before that, let's concatenate the train and test data sets and then check the missing values in the imputed data frame. So now you see, again, you don't have any missing values in categorical feature 1. So we've seen 3 different approaches relative to missing value imputation for categorical features. First was a univariate approach relative to mode. It is the most common approach that people know and apply most of the times. But it has its own limitations because you're not considering the other features. The next 2 approaches that we covered involved all the features. Approach 2 that we used was more to do with similarity profiling, where we found the similarity based on Euclidean distance. Again, if you're familiar with the space, you may know that there could be other measures of similarity. For example, you could talk about cosine similarity as well. Just demonstrated one example with Euclidean distance. So you get the idea. And the approach 3 was a predictive approach where we could generate different labels depending on each observation, and we could get the data imputed. Now, just a food for thought. What happens when we have multiple features with missing values? In this case, we just took one feature which had missing values and we had a mix of features. But there could be multiple categorical or multiple categorical and numerical features with missing values. What do you think you'd be doing in that case?